Welcome to the Theatre of the Mind, live 226. And I hope everyone is well this evening. Don't forget, there's extra Battenberg and altar wine if you so desire. The sermon this evening from the pulpit of truth is, well, it's a bit lively, to a bit of an understatement, because there's only going to be one story tomorrow in the mainstream media. I'll tell you about that in just a tick. Apologies to everyone that's coming into the body of the Kirk at the moment. Sam says, on time for the first time. Welcome, Sam. I'm absolutely positive that I created this live earlier today. And I'm absolutely positive that I watched it thinking, oh, well, nobody's going to mention this yet. Nobody's going to pass comment yet. It's a little early in the day. So when I've come at 7 o'clock to just pop in and get myself all sorted and ready, it wasn't here. Absolutely wasn't here. So I had to recreate it. I've no idea what happened. I absolutely categorically created this earlier in the day, and I'm not sure why it hasn't. Get the fan going. No idea why it's disappeared. So I apologise to everyone who thought, oh, no, what's going on? Where's the rev gone? Michelle Gooder, evening. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Same with Matthew Whedon. Let's get to the back. At the top, Fatal Racing Driver in his number one. Hello, Fatal Racing Driver. Terry Wookfit, hello, Fatal Racing Driver. And another great advert. So that sad sack gets to bring in facial recognition throughout Londinium. Yeah, it was a bit lively yesterday in, London. So, yeah, I'm with you. I see you says, hello, couldn't get this channel for a while. No, that's because I messed up a little. I'm not quite sure where it went. I either didn't save it or something. So I'll have to be more on it next time, tomorrow. Because remember, Wednesday, we always have a live at 7:30. There's a lot to talk about tonight, a lot. So I'm hoping that I can give you some extra value this evening and keep going for about 2 hours. I've got the hibiscus. You can't see me mouth move. So I see you. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. And the Bovril. Welcome, young the Bovril. Me Goricalis have never been so catty. I've no idea what that means, Theo Bovril. Sandra Whittam, hi there. What's your thought on Danny Ings coming to us? Is he really? Oh, Sandra, that's a bit tasty. Hopefully he plays well for you. Let's just calm the breathing down. The coughing will stop. Bad Wolf Project says, more than just hibiscus in that Battenberg. I've got no floaters, though, to be fair. I have to tell you, somebody asked me about a reference we made a couple of weeks ago, and said, yeah, Rev, that 2 girls 1 cup thing that you were talking about, what's that about? Is it like a netball thing? Is it a football thing? Is it no? So I told them. I've not heard from them again today. I think they're traumatised, to be fair. Amalia Grassy made it by the skin of me teeth. Only missed a minute. Bless you, Amalia. There was no going on in the first minute, that's for sure. But welcome to the body of the Kirk, as always. Des Ashton, howdy, folks. Good to be back. Bless you. Hang on. I've got some schmutzy on the glasses. I'm not quite sure what I've been doing, but definitely didn't make the glasses. So I need to give them a wipe so I can see what I'm doing. It always makes me laugh, that for no other reason than it just makes me laugh. I'm not going to elaborate. Stuart, Taylor Swift got engaged. I say, oh, how to spoil me bloody night, man, Stuart. Yeah, I am going to talk about it. I did see it. I was just getting ready, and all of a sudden, Taylor Swift's engaged. Oh, yeah. We will talk about it in a moment. Laird Wookfit, off to make coffee while you go through the usual welcoming bollocks. Yeah, good. Good to see you in a good mood, Terry. Lionel Layton unrehearsed. Good evening, Adrian. I hope you're okay. I'm cooking a meal whilst listening. Just chips and ham. Oh, now better. Stick an egg on it. Ooh. Now you're talking dinner. I see you, Stuart. I'm thrilled. I see you. I can literally hear the irony dripping from your keyboard. The Bovril categorically, ho hum. Oh, categorically. Oh, bloody predictive text. Bloody thing. Hang on. I didn't get it for a few days. That's a confession and a half, I see you. The old Bovril, that was rude. It's very rude. The old Bovril, very rude. And Napoleon blown apart. Hello, fella. Rollins. Neil Cunningham's in the body of the Kirk. Cab reshuffle. Reeves, Cooper and John Healy to be backbenched, a.k.a. sacked. Annalise Dodds to be Chancellor. Clive Betts to be Deputy PM. Lammy to Home Office. Really? Dear God, he'll eat them out of house and home, that boy, streeting off to Foreign Office. Interesting. So you know why he's having a bit of a shuffle, is Starmer, because he's taking all the threats out of the front benches, so nobody's going to take his place. But look, you can be made Prime Minister from the back benches, because let's face it, young Starmer likes to do everything from the back. Neil Cunningham Rayner, new Health Secretary. Oh, really? Hilary Benn to Defence, living of his father's name. Nandi to Northern Ireland. Sarah Champion in a DCMS. What the bloody hell's DCMS? Miliband should be off to the job centre. I wish he'd just be Foxtrot Oscar, young Miliband, because he's ruining the bloody country. All that net zero bollocks. Do you believe that? I mean, it's evident that if the Culture, Media... Oh, right. Department of Culture, Media and Sport. Thank you, Neil. Sarah Champion. Well, with a name like Champion, she's bound to go to Culture, Media and Sport, isn't she? How are you feeling, Adrian? Oh, champion, man. Champion. It's a great northeastern word. It means wonderful. Mephistopheles. Starmer loves felching. I'm sure he does. Want to smell me, boyfriend? Oh, Mike's Alligators. All right, Adrian, not seen a full live with you for a few days, so I hope you're okay, mate. Thank you, Mike's Alligators. Pretty dandy this evening. So, welcome. Good to see that you're posting. William Commons, they should all be going to the job centre. They should all be going to bloody jail. That's more appropriate for this bunch of crooks. I am going to... we'll get into what I'm going to talk about in the sermon this evening, because it's taken a lot to put together, to be fair, because we've had the last few hours. It's always the way when the adrenaline kicks in. The last few hours, it just kind of ramps up as we get towards the live. And I know people are kind of making dinner and eating dinner and catching up with family and stuff whilst I'm beavering away. There's nothing better than a little beavering. I do, when I go skiing, I have there are pictures of me kissing the Tyrolean beaver. Which I'm rather proud of. So if you don't mind, whilst I've been beavering away, kissing ye old beaver, the weather's rather appropriate for it. Neil Cunningham says, Phillipson to stay in education, and Reid to stay at DEFRA. Napoleon blown apart. Is Hilary Benn related to Tony Benn, the famous commie? Yes. Anthony Wedgwood Benn, as he was, and then gave away his peerage, his life peerage, because, oh no, I'm communist or whatever. I did actually interview Tony Benn, and he was very generous. He knew he was up against an amateur, comparatively, but he was very, very gentle with me, and I put a lot of store by the guy. His son Hillary, wow, it's like boy named Sue. How do you do? I'm called Hillary. What, as in Clinton? Neil Cunningham says that's from a reliable Westminster source. Starmer bringing in supporters and sidelining decent... yeah, well, exactly, that's what I've just said. Because he knows. He knows he's for the chop. He's ganning down the road, that boy. Foxtrot Oscar, Kia, mate. Because, well, when we get into it, first subject tonight is Elon Musk. Oi. He's giving Starmer a swift kick in the nuts. I'm not joking either. Dissent. John Healy. Father is Dennis Healy. Oh, my Lord. So we've got Hilary Benn and John Healy. Healy might be an up-and-coming, seemingly. Hilary Benn's not going to get anywhere near it. Adam Whale, he's on a rampage. So is Quentin Rampage Jackson's son. Did you see the video the other day? Quentin Rampage Jackson was one of the... I quite liked his fighting style. He's one of the heavyweights. Bit of a ledge in MMA. That's mixed martial arts. And, he could dig a bit. He could dig a bit. Anyway, his son was on this wrestling. His son is also an MMA fighter, but has only had one fight and lost it. So... Alan, I'll get to that in a second because I am going to mention it. And Rampage Jackson's son kind of did this wrestling move, wrestler unconscious, and the boy proper slapped him. And I'm using slapping euphemistically because I think there may be some legal proceedings ensuing. But he slapped the wrestler 22 times while he was unconscious. Absolutely no need. No need whatsoever. So I don't think people will fight him. I think he's now pariah in wrestling and possibly MMA. But interesting all the same. So thank you to everyone that's got their feet under the pews, the Starmers as they're called, because, they're a little hard on the derriere. Alan says, 2 girls aged 12 and 14 attacked in Dundee by a migrant. The 12-year-old pulls out a knife and an axe. So the cops arrested the girls. I've seen the video, Alan. I'm well aware of it, and we are going to talk about it. It's in Dundee. I mean, as I keep telling you, every time I do a live now, I've got to talk about the proper fighters in this country. And the Scots don't bugger about. I mean, I love the Scots, as in Scottish people and the Welsh. I love them all because my experience of them was of a people that are straight up and down. You leg them over, they'll come for you. But if you're straight up and down with them, they're straight up and down with you. I loved it. I lived in Scotland for 10 years. Loved it. People of honour. Human Pete, big Mike. Woof. I understand there's a rampage going on in America, and it's going right at the top of the food chain. So there's possibly a president of the United States going to be arrested. So we'll talk about that. Hang on, what's Terry said now? Des Ashton, Ben gave up the name, but not the land and the dosh. Oh, I'm sure he didn't. He recorded every interview that he did. I gave him a copy, obvs. Paulie Galtieri, welcome into the body of the Kirk, young sir. Same with Cuban Pete. Big Mike. Adam Whale said Southwest Scotland for me. I travelled quite a bit. Best fish and chips. Over the water in Firth, yeah. I can't remember the name of it. Ainster. Some people call it Anstruther. But the locals call it Ainster. And Nicholas, ex-migrant hotel manager, has been arrested and is now out on bail. Police at his door this morning. Bonkers. Oh, I wonder what's going on there then. Hang on. Tom Harney's, I thought you weren't on, so was just about to watch me new DVD of Ozzy's music videos. I'll watch it tomorrow. Now, can't miss the rev. I'm on tomorrow night as well, Tom. 7:30. But you enjoyed the Prince of Darkness. Blimey, there's lots of people commenting. Thank you very much for that. Should we get into it? Scots and Welsh, what you see is what you get. Absolutely no. So if you're going to leg them over, there is a reason why they call it Welshing on a bet. But if you're straight up and down with them, they love you. Love you. Although the Welsh women and the Scots women, interesting concept, especially the ones from Swansea. Holy Jesus, they're more manly than the men from Swansea. Swansea Jacks. I have a dear friend, Non Evans, who's from Swansea, out that way, the Gower, and I love Non a bit. She's a very famous Welsh rugby player and did gladiators, like proper gladiators on the telly, and Non's from out that way, and we always joke about it. Hang on a second, Sam. Do you all this reshuffle got something to do with Tommy Robinson? I doubt it. I think it's got everything to do with two-tier Kia, free gear Kia, and queer as folk Kia. He's getting the sack soon, so he doesn't want anybody challenging him from the front benches like Yvette Cooper, where last time I looked, when I was allowed on my iPhone, 11-1 to be the next Prime Minister. And Streeting was also in there. So all he's done, he's just gone, you bunch of bastards, I'll do your knees, your political knees. Neil Cunningham, Scots and... Oh, yeah, we've done that one. Thank you. Toddler69, evening, Adrian, and all you utter Romans of the Kirk. Nearly on time. It's always best to be slow and sure, so I'm told. Toddler69, at least that's the guidance I get. Terry Wookfit, joys of eating chips near the sea. Yeah, Ainster, Anstruther. Best fish and chips in the country, apart from maybe Whitby and the kind of North Yorkshire coast and the North East. EBTB holiday evening, all evening. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Les Griffiths, the British government is about to get both barrels from the Trump administration. We're going to talk about that tonight, Les. We are, and thank you to all those that have emailed me with various bits of information. I am going to use them tomorrow night because there's some absolute crackers in there. I always, the emails, unless said otherwise, are always presented anonymously, because I don't want anybody kind of pointing fingers and stuff. Stephen Hall, another YouTuber, reckons Rayner will be the next PM. I'll bare my backside in Harrod's window. She's as rough as a badger's backside. And I'm going to talk about that tonight, Stephen, about the timing and the optics of it all and what's going on, because it's just politics, the cut and thrust of politics. She knows she's being done, so to speak, loosely speaking, metaphorically. I'm not going down that route. No. The gag that I was told earlier today, I'm absolutely not repeating that again. I see you. It must be hard being in politics. All those expenses and forms to fill out on your day off. I know. Or you can go just floating about, sucking on a vape and getting a couple of tinnies out while some poor little sap is paddling around. Her and her 800 grand third pad. Fern, hello Adrian and everyone. Hello Fern, welcome to the body of the Kirk. And Les Griffiths, Trump, Elon left as Elon the Grey. He may return as Elon the White. Make of it what you will. Well, yeah, he was kind of self-admitted he was doing Special K. So Mephistopheles, Stench, Trench, Rayner, ouch. Yeah, we will. Ginger Growler. Thank you, Cuban Pete, you're wrong. 3 houses, Rayner, with 2 Jags. But you see, John Prescott was a bit more of a character. She just comes across as aggressive. She's not a stateswoman. She's not. She's there as a blast wall to stop Starmer from getting the sack. That's why she's there. But if they're going to move her around, Adam Whale, galloping powder. So I understand the old Colombian. That's other people. We're not talking about British politics, but we are talking about European politics, where they do love a bit of ye old marching powder on trains. I was surprised they were in Austria or Switzerland. Oh, we got 2 bags of hibiscus this evening. Absolutely wonderful. Shall we start? So that's the parish notes over with this evening. Welcome to everybody in the body of the Kirk. Comment away. Always look forward to reading them. I will say, without mentioning any names, any pack drill, nothing. There's a shit ton of stuff going on in the background. A shit ton of stuff. And, it will all become very, very clear very, very soon. Sorry to be obtuse. Sorry to not kind of tell it like it is. But for reasons best known to myself and others, I'm saying absolutely foxtrot all. I must congratulate Professor Tim Wilson, who I saw a video earlier, and Professor Wilson he's just magnificent. If any of these people are watching this, or even the professor himself, I just love his style and his verbosity and his ability to tackle something and be rather measured and appropriate. It was just wonderful to watch. As a man that I'm now studying how to do this thing, because I've done radio for so long, I love to see other practitioners and how they do it, and he inspired me today. Adam Wales says, I met Professor a few weeks ago. Oh, I hope he was fabulous. I'm sure he's exactly the same in real life as he comes across on YouTube. Just beautiful, beautiful. I mean, as I say, his verbosity, his words, and his style is just beautiful to watch. Adam, well, I'm sorry, I've got to tease you at the moment, but I promise you, as soon as I know, I'll be making bloody videos. Professor Tim is very good, I know. No, well, maybe he's better at YouTube than he is at politics, but I think soon, if he tries to do YouTube and or reform at some point, I think he'll do very, very well. Burlington Bertie, I would call the Growler a champagne socialist. Agreed, Burlington Bertie, but she's more like a white lightning and being fingered behind the bag shed. Socialist, rougher than most council houses. I think you've absolutely nailed your take on her, Burlington Bertie. I agree with you. White lightning. Yes, Alan, and a shit tax on the amount of flushes soon. Polly Gallieri, Adrian, can we expect the convicted stalker having a Christmas number 1 again this year? I think more like a Christmas number 2. Paulie. So, as people have been commenting, Andrew James, we need to see if the Growler has pineapples outside her front door on house number 3. Well, she can't do pampas grass because, well, there's no garden in the flat. I've seen the insides of the flat. It looks quite spacious for the £800,000. And well, we're going to talk about that tonight. Let's get into it, man. How are you? Let's get into it. So, Taylor Swift, the Swifties. Oh, the bloody internet's melting down, man. I mean, so Taylor Swift's engaged to Travis Kelce. Foxtrot Oscar, man. I mean, dear Lord, her music, in my view, it's just a personal view, is as dull as ditch water. Dull. Or is it dishwater? Either way, it's shite. It's not my thing. I'm not a 12-year-old girl who thinks that she's wonderful. But I'm telling you this. I don't trust that. Engaged to Travis Kelce. I don't trust that. So they had a photographer there. Oh, he's on his knees. You know what? You know why a man goes on his knees to ask for a lady's hand in marriage? It's because you have to be subservient to the lady. Seemingly, because she's going to spend the rest of her life on her knees. So will there be now an engagement album and a married album and then the divorce album? Because as sure as eggs are eggs, there's a prenup or 3 being signed for that. They've not gone into that going, yes, darling, will you marry me? And give me 100 million, please. But he's got a few bob, so prenups will have been signed. Too many ex-boyfriends can tell the tale. Now, what am I saying in 2025? Ranty Rev. From the pulpit of truth. It's notice that she's had well, if the ex-boyfriends are not to be believed, more pricks than a second-hand dartboard. So, but the angst of being in relationships and then breaking up, and some of them didn't even last a couple of weeks. I mean, what did they find down there when they, try to have a dance? They're all rock and roll, these boys, all kind of DJs and actors and public profile musicians. Have you noticed none of them have ever come out, not out, but they've never come out and said, well, in an ungentlemanly fashion. So, just something occurred to me. Do you think she's going to wear a lavender wedding dress? I mean, it's lovely. Lavender's a lovely colour. I mean, there's only really virgins can wear white. And you know why wedding dresses are coloured white, don't you? Well, all household appliances come in white. That'll get the misogynists going. Neil Cunningham, I'm off to Thresher to get 20 L&B and a case of special brew. Bring her on. Oh, dear Lord. Swift marriage, swift divorce. I'm with you, Ray. Completely with you. But, money's exchanged hands, I'm sure. The Wookfit says, order his second. Laugh my arse off. Let us know if you actually receive it sometime in the future. Oh, I say. Burlington Bertie says, I bet she's had her exes sign an NDA. Yeah, there's a couple $100 grand. Just keep your gob shut because there's so much money. She's George Soros's puppet man. So you know the timing of everything. Taylor Swift engaged now to Travis Kelce, and it will literally obliterate everything. Well, almost everything off the front pages of all of the newspapers around the world because everybody loves a bit of shit news reporting. Andrew James, you might have to explain that one to me. I am a man of the world, but they found a walking stick in her knickers. Des Ashton, wonder if she uses a golden shovel whilst digging. Oh, I say. Golden what? I mean, did he take her to McDonald's for the golden arches? I mean, was it in sunshine in Florida and they were near the beach and they were going to go swimming, so obviously you would have to stand under the golden showers? Ooh. Tom Harley's, don't knock Smokey living next door to Growler. Markle's already said it was done deliberately to annoy her. What, the engagement? Wouldn't surprise me. Amalia Gressy, I have no clue who Travis is. I vaguely know who Swift is. You're my kind of woman, Amalia Gressy. Absolutely gone up in my estimation. The more women that have nothing to do or know anything about Taylor Swift, Swifty for short, absolutely gone up in my estimation, Amalia. Thank you very much. Talker 69, great minds think alike. So in the sermon this evening, because we need to crack on, are you aware of Elon riding to the UK's rescue? That was a visual gag. If you weren't watching and you're only listening to this, you've just missed a gag. We're going to talk about Ginger Growler, Angela Rayner, worth £5 million, owns 3 properties, on a minister's wage of 153 grand. Oh, you know why Farage has come out and gone, right, we're going to just deport everybody. Everybody can get gone. If they're coming to this country, we're just going to get rid of them. You know why he said that, don't you? Because Rupert Lowe's absolutely done his knees with Elon Musk, which we will talk about in just a moment. Oh, I didn't. Shite, man. I had some data that I wanted to give you. I'll save it for tomorrow night. Neil Cunningham, can't stand Swift's music, but I'd back Scotland. I definitely can't tell you what I know. I definitely can't. I think you might regret that, young Neil. Take your gun out and say, right, swing 'em! Be like a fairground ride. Zelensky can give Starmer all the Ukrainian rent boys he wants. Paulie, we're going to talk about that. I see you. She must have had a good accountant. Yeah. Who sang the song "Do the Back Scuttle"? Was it Chubby? Anyone die at Notting Hill? I ain't seen the news. Well, no, nobody's interested now. Amanda Sky, exactly. No, I can't. No, George Soros. He tries to rule the world, so I'm not taking him on. Talker 69, Chubbs, Matthew says. If you want to watch him, that's your choice. I got fed up with him, and I only watch if the title of the video is interesting enough. Ah, okay, what Andrew said. Thank you for everybody telling me it was the Chubbs. Right, it might have been a while ago. So we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, the comeback. Oh, I say. What's gone on today, Adrian? Reverend, what do you know? I know lots, and I'm going to tell you tonight. One particular name that has, come out in dispatches. It might have been redacted somewhere, but it wasn't redacted elsewhere. It's interesting. We're also going to talk about this 14-year-old girl in Scotland, arrested for carrying weapons to defend herself. I can't condone anybody carrying weapons, but I can condone her attitude to what was going on. She's 14, her sister was 12, and seemingly, although there is no corroborative evidence that it was a foreigner that had a go at her sister, she's just turned up. None of the adults in Scotland, even wee Jimmy Cranky, none of the adults have actually tried to protect the kids, but her sister, big sister, her 12-year-old sister, will love her to death. She's come out and gone, aye, right, and I'm paraphrasing here. You want to come? You want to have a go? Come and have a go. You think you're hard enough? Pulls out this axe and this blade. I mean, they didn't look very sharp at all, but it was enough to scare the bejesus out of him. Might have been him that took the video. So we will talk about that. Watch out, watch out. There's a central bank about. I'm going to talk about the bloody thieving, crooked banks system. Andrew says, Stuart, I'm fed up with Dougie, but I'd like him to dig another hole for himself. He conned my elderly father for a large sum of money. It's a grudge, but I hope his book might have something libelous. Keep watching, Andrew. Keep watching, because I will report to you. Topless69 said, I listened to the video audio. She said he battered her 12-year-old sister and then beat her. Well, he wasn't doing it again, was he? No. So, as I say, where are the adults? Where are the police? Where are the adults of the parish protecting the children, protecting the women, protecting the sacred spaces of the women? They're nowhere. They're not interested. But she made a very interesting point. As I say, I can't condone anybody carrying blades around with them, and it's very serious. But the Scots, as in the nation, if the police and the politicians try to make hay while the sun shines with this little 14-year-old girl, the Scots will rise up. There's absolutely no denying they will let the police Scotland. It's the second biggest force in the United Kingdom, or Great Britain, if you will. Second biggest force. But there's more Scots people than there are bobbies. And the problem with, what's the old phrase? You always get the police force that you deserve. And the problem with the Scots is Police Scotland's full of Scots people. So it's this real dichotomy, this real clash around this 14-year-old girl. I take my hat off to her, because the police, their hands are also tied because of the political will. It's these people like Hamza Youssef. Everything's white. Well, it would be, because they're the indigenous population. Why didn't he say everybody's ginger? They're not ginger in Scotland. It's rust, because it bloody rains so much. So we'll talk about that. And if you've not worked out Ukraine yet, I'm going to tell you about that. Oh, there's some absolute brown stuff coming out of Ukraine today. We're going to talk about Jeremy Corbyn and Sarah Sultana. Real name, not made up. They've set up a webpage for you to ask, for them to ask you for name suggestions for the new party. Shall we make some up tonight? I think it'll be a bit of a giggle. And I want you to know this. Aidan Wellsmith says, it is actually. Yes, is an anagram of. I remember you saying that I'm not sorry that he took advantage of your dad's kindness. I think the books are full of bullshit. Oh, yes, that's it. It's Andrew. Terry Woodford, Muppet Show. Yeah, moronic people, MPs. Manda Sky, she's very brave for protecting her sister. Aidan Wellsmith, Jezza McJezbala, Iron Brew. That's why they're all bloody ginger, man. It's the colour of Iron Brew. Fruit and Nutcase Party. Well, very good. New party name, Fruit and Nutcase Party, says Neil. Oh, everybody's getting on that. New name, Jezbala. How about the LOB Party? Loads of Bollocks Party. Lob is an interesting English word. Lob. It has so many connotations. Lob is something you do to a tennis ball, and if you just lob it out, well, then it has a completely different meaning. So I want to kind of get to a place where we can discuss what's going on at the moment. It's not a race war. It's a class war. Don't you get it? They're coming after the middle classes now. So what's going on at the moment? It's not a race war by any stretch of the imagination. They're trying to stoke the race fires. They're trying to stoke the race fires over the weekend. Didn't work. It's black on black. Can't make that racist. They can't even print that in the newspapers. They're damned. Oh, the truth. It's a class war. I will keep telling you that and keep giving you examples of war on the middle classes. We're going to do some Americana tonight, Trump and what's going on in America. It's just, someone said this is an absolute travesty, pure injustice. That 14-year-old girl wouldn't need to carry a knife if the police actually did their damn job. Agreed, English bottle cap. But as I say, Police Scotland, made up of the previous 8 police forces from right at the top to the lowlands of Scotland and the borders, and it's ram-packed full of people who just want to do the right thing. People that took up the cudgel to become a police officer and just wanted to make a difference in their own communities. And a lot of the cops in Scotland, I've got loads as friends. Fantastic people, straight up and down. Obviously, there's the odd bad apple, but mostly they're just trying to keep idiots away from their kids. So it'll be interesting to see how it's reported tomorrow. I actually I saw the story via a meme of like a raged Scots girl with an axe and a blade. It's not exactly a knife or a kitchen knife; it's a pretty big blade. And I'm trying to think. She's been arrested. She's under 16, can't be named. It's technically not sub judice, hasn't been charged that I'm aware of. So just wanted to make that point. We're going to do Beckham Watch tonight because, well, it's all kicking off in the Beckham family. It's just brilliant. So one family, Pelts, they're multi-billionaires. And then you've got David. My name's David Beckham. I'm Sir David now because I'm right in with the World Economic Forum. They gave us a prize. Yeah, they told me, yes, you for your philanthropy. He said, have I done philanthropy? Vicky, what does that mean? What have I done? You've given away some money, darling. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Can I bring me mate? One of the brothers. No, you can't. Just shut the up. And have you seen this foreign EV that's blown up? Have you noticed how all that's gone quiet? I told you nearly 2 years ago that EVs, insurance companies are not insuring them because they blow up. They blow up. And that's why. So, Terry Wookfit, your Golden Balls voice is as funny as Doug Vordenaux or Abacus. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And David loves it as well. Stuart, is Trump okay? There's people on social media saying he's not in the best of health. I agree, Stuart. I was actually going to do a subject about that tonight, but I've just got so much to cram in that it's kind of on the back burner. I might do something tomorrow during the day. Yes, he's not very well at all. But I think you'll find maybe a couple of months ago he went quiet for a week or two. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. It's... Sandra Whitlam's going to agree with me. Sometimes it's shite being a football fan. It's shite. You can't choose your footy team. But Huddersfield, 1-0 up tonight against the Mackhams. The Black Cats, they're fucking useless bunch of shite. And calm down. Out with anger, in with love. Out with anger, in with love. It's just... utter consternation. Neil Cunningham says, the Beckham's voice drives my cat insane. I have that effect all the time, Neil, to be fair. Your favourite part of the life, says Stuart. It's always shite, man. I know, Des, I know. It's like, oh, man, 9 minutes in. What? Did they turn up? Have they gone on the pitch yet? Stuart says, I did see a video of Trump today and his hand was bruised. I think, Stuart, they've been putting little needles in him. And obviously, is he 79? He's coming up 80. So he's an old boy. And some people are saying, oh, well, he's repeating himself now when he's giving speeches. He's still running rings round those morons in America. Mike's Alligators. Adrian, the Mackhams are shite. At least we don't play at Sid James Park, Mike's Alligators. Donald's hand is bruised because of an aspirin regime. Really? Keeping his blood thin? Curious. I mean, he would get the best medical treatment and free. But poor old Donald. I mean, they're talking about... I saw a picture yesterday he'd been fitted with a catheter, not like a stoma bag, but it was a really high-tech thing, just to kind of, they don't want a second President Shitty Pants, do they? So, oh, I say, young Wackford. No, Sunderland, it's 2 U's and the D silent. No, Sunderland play at the Stadium of Shite. English bottle cap, aspiring or warfaring. Ooh, toon, says Peter Christie. Oh, toot. Mike's Alligators. I've been in the Stadium of Shite years ago. Once, Adrian. Never again. Hey, Mike. So shall we talk about what's absolutely going to knock absolutely everything off the front pages of every single newspaper around the world tomorrow? Elon Musk. Now, I will say he's making a shit ton of money out of the American taxpayer. But I will tell you this. He keeps telling people he's going to go to Mars in a spaceship with 100 feet thick of lead because they're not going to get through the Van Allen radiation belt. Period. We've not been anywhere near getting through the Van Allen radiation belt ever. They can't. It's not going to happen. So going to Mars, I don't mean shite, man. Elon, it's me you're talking to. It's not going to happen. It isn't going to happen. And that's why the Americans had to fake the moon landings. But Elon, you've got to give him Terry, I tend to agree with you. It was a bit of a toilet. I went into the when Bowie played there with Big Country. Obviously, the radio stations were promoting it, so I was allowed into the bowels, and that's exactly what it was. The bowels. Alan says the aliens get through the Van Allen belt. Right, that's because they're shapeshifters. That's because they're coming from different dimensions. They're not in this dimension. They're coming from somewhere else. So they can, like Star Trek, you can beam me up, Scotty. You can go anywhere you want. I'm telling you now. I will bear my backside. Where can we go? We've had Harrods Window. I'll bear my backside in front of Buckingham Palace. That will get me arrested. If any human being manages to get through the Van Allen belt in a spaceship made by man. Wormholes. Exactly, Andrew James. Amalia Grassy. Love a bit of Van Allen. Van Halen. Jump. Elon will only get to Mars if he nicks Doctor Who's TARDIS. Brilliant, Matthew Whedon. So, let's talk about Elon Musk supporting Rupert Lowe. So Rupert Lowe has had some letter, and there are, well, let me just give you my facts and figures as I have them at the moment. So Starmer's election pledge was to get Britain working. This is Starmer. This is two-tier, free gear, queer as folk Starmer. His election pledge was to get Britain working. So, there's some absolutely horrendous and shocking figures from the Department of Work and Pension today that show that those on jobless benefits are now 6.5 million people, up 500,000 since the socialist shyster came to power. He won't be happy with that, but that is the truth. I'll give you those facts again. 6.5 million people now on jobless benefits. That's up 500,000 since two-tier, free gear, queer as folk, Starmer came into power. 15% of the working age population is now on out-of-work benefits. More claim jobless welfare than during COVID. That 6.5 million number is 79% higher than the 2018 number. And you and I both know this country can't afford to subsidise the lives of this idle shirkers. Our only hope is that Farage will slash benefits and force them back to work. Because, look, the Labour Party want the slackers, the ne'er-do-wells, the no-do-gooders, and all the illegals that are coming in. Just vote for us, we'll give you more. Just vote for us, we'll give you more. Until they get past the UN and World Health Organization's Agenda 2030. Once we get beyond 2019 and 2030, Fox taught the whole lot of you. So the government says, and I quote, by 2029, there will be no illegal immigrants housed in hotels. Hotel usage. They're now blaming the bloody Tories. Well, they've been in power for a year. They can't blame the Tories for anything other than the shit mess they're making of this country. But they're saying that hotel usage is down from a peak of 400 hotels in 2023, under the Tories, evidently. And they're saying that 35,000 with no legal right to be here have been deported. But as I keep saying to you on these lives, they count the male heads coming in, and then the male heads and the female heads and all the kids. So out of that 35,000, there might only be 10,000 males that came in, and 111,000 illegal immigrants have come into this country in the last year. 111,000, whilst Labour have been in charge. So I look at their I look at their social media platforms and profiles, and it's like what the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, or whatever the saying is. We know what they're playing at. We know what they're doing. We know why they're doing it. We know everything about it. So, shall we get to Ginger Growler? I think so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to align Ginger Growler with Animal Farm. Have you read the book? Animal Farm, George Orwell, same guy that wrote 1984. Now, George Orwell wrote Animal Farm ostensibly about communism, how the animals started with integrity, and then the intelligent animals, the pigs, realised that they could run the gaff. They could run all the other animals. They could run the farm. And eventually, not to spoil the story for you, the pigs ended up walking on two trotters like the humans, controlling everything. So this is, with Rayner and all of the others, and thank you to Neil for giving us the heads up about the five-fingered shuffle that Starmer's going to do. This is his political fight back. And you know the reason why Rayner, Ginger Growler, has had all this reportage about her over the last few days, because then that gives, because there was every chance that she was going to step up to become Prime Minister. She's too rough. She's absolutely too rough. She can't be a stateswoman. But Yvette Cooper, safe hands. One or two of the others, safe-ish hands. But the Labour Party's trying to get rid of Starmer because he's toxic. And what's happening to Ginger Growler over the last 48 hours is his political fight back. He's absolutely doing her political knees. She can't come back from this. I've got 3 houses. You do know... well, I'm going to ask you a question. Where did the money come from? Because she's on 153k a year as Deputy Prime Minister. So where did the money come from? She's just bought a bloody house worth 800,000. Well, not a house, a flat, an apartment, as the posh people call them. But she's just bought that for 800 G's. So where's the money coming from? It's not from her pay. By this time she's paid all her tax and national insurance and stuff, she's not making that much money. She's making less than 100 grand a year. But another question I want to ask you. Why are the taxpayers stumping up council tax on her second and third home? She doesn't pay the council tax on the Grace and Favour home that she's got at is it Admiralty Arch? She's bought this place down in Brighton, or on the south coast. So why the taxpayers, me and you, who are busting our nuts for the odd pay packet, why is she getting away with that? She's got a Grace and Favour, or one of, because can you remember Two Jags? John Prescott, he was playing croquet, wasn't he, on the lawn of this really, really nice country pile. But the Grace and Favour in Admiralty House, the council tax being discharged on that, she's not going to pay it. Because the taxpayers are going to pay it. How does that work then? Crooked, corrupt, thieving bastards. So it's £2,034 per year paid by the taxpayers. Nice. But me being the cynical old tart, I'm watching this thinking, hang on a second, who's behind this story? And why now? So on her minister's salary, she could work for 53 years, having never spent a penny, and only just be able to afford the 800 grand on that property. So having told you all of that, let's look at Animal Farm. So remember at the beginning of Animal Farm, there was this promise of equality. In Animal Farm, the animals overthrow their human oppressors. Look, if this is a spoiler for you, if you're going to read it over the next few days, then just kind of switch off and come back in 5 minutes. In Animal Farm, the animals overthrow their human oppressors with the dream of a society where all animals are equal. Similarly, the Labour government came into power in 2024, promising to level up society. They wanted to tackle inequality and deliver for working people. They told us all this, can you not remember? However, early criticisms suggest a gap between their rhetoric and the reality, with public sentiment turning sour as favourability ratings went through the bloody floor. So in the beginning there was a promise of equality, but then what we're seeing now is this rise of the elite. The pigs in Orwell's Animal Farm, they quickly position themselves as leaders, we're going to lead everyone to freedom, we're going to lead everyone to equality. Because the pigs said to everyone, we'll be leaders, we have superior intelligence to justify the pigs getting extra privileges. Now, Labour's leadership, including Keir Starmer, have £100,000 worth of freebies. It's nothing like all men are equal, except some men, Arsenal supporters, are more equal than others. So Starmer, he's been accused of elitism, with the constant association with the World Economic Forum. He's got low net ratings reflecting perceptions of detachment from ordinary voters. So he's up there, Lord Ali giving him freebies, suits worth thousands and glasses worth thousands. And so the pigs in Orwell's Animal Farm quickly position themselves as leaders. As I say, they say we've got superior intelligence to justify their privileges. But this mirrors how the pigs separate themselves from the farm's labourers in Animal Farm. So the pigs get in, the pigs are all powerful, they're getting all of the privileges, and then they change the rules. So if you think about it, Orwell's pigs alter the 7 commandments to suit their own needs, such as allowing alcohol or trade with humans. Labour have done exactly the same thing. They've been criticised for U-turns on policies like benefits, winter fuel payments, the waspy women, and energy bills, if you want, failing to address high costs whilst promising reform, leading to feelings of betrayal amongst supporters. And then we get to the point in Animal Farm where there is hypocrisy in the leadership. I mean, it looks like it's the Labour Party writ large. So as I was saying a little earlier, the famous line, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, captures the pigs' double standards. This is in Animal Farm. This is George Orwell's Animal Farm. The Labour government has been labelled hypocritical. I mean, can you not see that? They've been labelled hypocritical with sleaze, cronyism, fat lads running up huge bills on takeaways and then flying off in jets and private jets and, I'm just going here and, let's have a choo-choo. I'll go with European leaders and I'll just have a little bit of what they've been having. Maybe we'll invade Poland if we're on the marching powder. So you've got all of the scandals surrounding them, and they echo, all of these scandals echo Orwell's satire. Ministers accepting freebies whilst imposing austerity measures on the public. It's Orwellian, but from Animal Farm, not 1984. And then, if you look at the focus on Angela Rayner, the working class hero turned elite. So Rayner, like Snowball in Animal Farm, or Napoleon, if you wish, rose from humble beginnings as a trade unionist. She symbolised Labour's working class roots. Yet, her role as Deputy PM and Housing Secretary has drawn fire for owning multiple homes amid a housing crisis, paralleling how pigs move into the farmhouse whilst preaching equality to all the other animals. So she's got multiple homes. How does that work then? Where's the money come from? Follow the money. So, should we just reference freebies and the trough? Because all politicians are corrupted by the power. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the pigs in Animal Farm hoard the apples and milk, if you remember, claiming, well, it's for our health. It's for the benefit of our health because we're the pigs, we're the intelligent ones. Rayner and other Labour figures have faced scrutiny over donations and freebies, including clothing, trips, during a cost of living squeeze, a gluttonous splurge that smacks of Orwellian entitlement. It's right out of Animal Farm. And if we dare mention immigration and social cohesion, so the farm's animals, George Orwell's Animal Farm, the farm's animals face division as the pigs manipulate through fear. Rayner has highlighted deprivation and immigration as straining UK cohesion, but critics are arguing with the Labour government and their policies that they just exacerbate tensions. Remember? Right-wing thugs? No such thing. No such thing. Like in Animal Farm, the pigs just made it up. But some critics are actually arguing that Labour's policies exacerbate the tensions, exactly like how the pigs blamed external enemies, like Snowball in the book, for internal failures. I'll say that to you again. The pigs blame external enemies, so it'll be Trump and it'll be the EU and it'll be others, like Snowball, for the internal failures of this country and this government. But then we get to the union rows and power struggles. So internal farm conflicts, like Napoleon's dogs chasing out rivals, they reflect Ginger Growler's clashes with unions over tax rises and suspensions. Has she not been suspended from Unite? But Unite gave her tens of thousands of pounds for her campaign. Can you see? Double standards, like the pigs. So Rayner's had clashes with the unions over tax rises and suspensions, exposing Labour's fractures. Now, this echoes Orwell's portrayal of revolutionary ideals crumbling under power grabs. And this is where we are today. If there's going to be a cabinet shuffle, then it's more power grabs in politics. But let's have a look at me and you. The public's disillusionment. By the end of Animal Farm, animals can't distinguish the pigs from humans. Now, a year into Labour's term, the polls are showing half the public views their mission-led government, under the Labour government, as failing, with immigration and economy topping concerns. It's a stark betrayal of the change voters expected. Remember? Things can only get better. Blair. Didn't dare use it for two-tier, did they? So there is, I would suggest, similarities between Orwell's Animal Farm and the Labour government. There is an enduring warning. Now, Orwell's story warns that revolutions often replace one tyranny with another, the Tory party with the Labour Party. Labour's early stumbles, from policy reversals to Rayner's personal controversies, suggest a government drifting towards the very elitism it vowed to dismantle, risking voter alienation as Orwell predicted. So let's just round that all up. Orwell's Animal Farm is a timeless cautionary tale of how power corrupts ideals of equality. And looking at the book against the backdrop of the 2025 UK Labour government, there are clear parallels that emerge. Promises of fairness, giving way to hypocrisy, elite privileges and public disillusionment. Ginger Growler, once a symbol of working class aspiration, well, she embodies this shift through controversies over housing and donations. She's not going to get 1.5 million houses built. She'll buy the feckers for 800 grand a pop, though. And all of this mirrors the pigs' ascent into unchecked authority. Whilst Labour's term is young, it's only just a year old, these echoes of Orwellian satire highlight the dangers of straying from revolutionary principles, urging vigilance to prevent history's tragic repetition. The Uniparty, the Tories and the Labour Party. The Lib Dems are not really a political party. They're just a laughing stock. But you can see from what I've said there, how I've constructed it, that there's so many parallels between Animal Farm and the Labour government that it's just obscene. In the end, the pigs got up and walked like humans. Unfortunate term of phrase using the likeness of pigs, but look, if you've got Ginger Growler, Mephistopheles, that is proper funny. No, that's Rebecca Lewis. You're wrong. Is the property in both their names? She can't get a mortgage as her salary is hardly guaranteed. Well, Rich, who knows who's paid? Who knows? She might not have a mortgage on it. It might be straight cash. So that's what I'm saying. The corruption has been, or some kind of a corruption has been identified. It's all over the papers today, but the newspapers are conflicted, the mainstream media, because on the one hand, they want her to depose Keir Starmer. They wanted Rachel from Accounts to depose Keir Starmer. Others in the background, Cooper, Streeting, wanting to depose Starmer. So Starmer, he's not a fool. That boy is not a fool. Ugly as fuck, but not a fool, in my view. And I'm not a gay man, thankfully. So I do believe that Animal Farm is writ large in this Labour government, and it'll be interesting. I still maintain that he's going to go. They can't keep him. He's so toxic. But then again, have they got anybody to replace him? I'll ask you a question. Who do you think the Labour Party should replace Sir Keir Starmer with? Which Labour politician, and don't say Fat Lammy's gastric band, who is it that the Labour Party should replace Sir Keir Starmer with? Les Griffiths says Labour may as well appoint Fat Lammy's gastric band as Prime Minister and Diane Abacus as Chancellor. Stephen Hall, Starmer is so toxic after Southport. Diane Abbott. Oh, she's the mother of the Parliament, isn't she? A robot will be better, says Alan. And Rusty's roaming's bit of an outlier, bit of a Andy Burnham. But the thing is, Burnham's got skeletons, and he's not quite going to want to go back into the cut and thrust of high-level politics because they might come out of the wardrobe. A bit like married men on a weekend watching their wife getting shagged. West Streeting, Bad Wolf Project, Noddy, says New Waffle. R.I.P. Labour, says English Bottle Cap. Can't think of a single one, says Tom Harney's. Me neither. I did think earlier. I was thinking, well, who would I say? Andy Burnham, maybe. Sandra Whittam. Tony Blair. There's a rum one. Liverpool love Burnham. Starmer's got a face like a slate hanger's nail bag. Brilliant. Lioness sleeps no more. Wonderful to have you in the body of the Kirk this evening. Stephen Hall says, can't think of anybody to replace Starmer except a Cyberman. Just replace the whole bloody Labour Party, says Paulie Galtieri. I'm with you. Replace them with another party. Not the Tories, though, and not the Lib Dems. Jesus, can you imagine the Lib Dems? They'd be so off their tits all the time, they wouldn't be able to get anything done. West Streeting, George Galloway, Adrian. Interesting, Mike's Alligators. Interesting, but he's not a member of the Labour Party. But so I'm going to ask you a question. We'll do a couple of questions here. First question. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Will you ever again vote for one of the big three political parties? Labour, Tories, Lib Dems. Will you ever vote for one of the big three political parties? It's 1 for yes, 2 for no. Which politician doesn't have a cupboard full of sketting? Oh, well, there is that. Gorgeous Judge. So far, it's 100% no. So it's 1 for yes, 2 for no. Will you ever again vote for one of the big three political parties? Paul Mabley says yes, but I just think he's been young Paul's been irascible. I thought of Galloway at one point, says Stephen Hall. Not a chance. No, never, ever. Literally 99.9% everybody's saying no, except Sandra has a very good point. Sandra Whittam. Possibly yes, depending on who else is there. Well, Dave Johnson, another great response, another great point. Why would you? Ben Habib, definitely for me, says Gary Chabot. Gary, welcome back from France. I hope you had a lovely time. Good to see you in the body of the Kirk, young sir. Andrew James, use Advance UK or UKIP as a protest vote. Ooh, split the reform vote. Interesting. David Stewart, David Miliband. Not having that, David, you're wrong. Mad Matt UK. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mad Matt. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Des Ashton makes another great point. We don't actually need them. They need us because they're just literally sucking at the teat of corruption. So I'm going to ask you another question. Straight on the back of that, let's leave that vote. Thank you very much for all the votes and all your opinions. Paul Mabley said, I'm a Labour Party member and a Fabian. I'm your worst nightmare. Well, kill the country if you want, Paul. Terry Wookford, Animal Farm, read the book, watched the animated film and ate the cast. Brilliant. Nothing better than a little apple sauce in between two buns. So I'm going to ask you another question. Snouts in trough, says Alan. I think we're all agreed there. Oh, yes, Gary Chabot is saying, come on, guys, smash the likes. See if we can get it over 100. We've got quite a few people watching this evening, so let's hope we can make it to over 100. Yeah, we've got 200 people watching. So I'm going to ask you another question, and I want your voting, please. So Jeremy Corbyn and Sarah Sultana are asking for people's names for their new political party. It's just a social media thing, just to get people talking about it. They're not actually interested in what you think and the name. I mean, would you think that Party McPartface would be for? But they're going to be somewhere left of the Labour Party. So I'm going to ask you, do you want someone else to take over the left wing of politics? Are we done with the Tories light under Starmer and the parasitical classes? And will Jeremy Corbyn and Sarah Sultana, their party, do you think that it will take over the left wing of politics? 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Paulie Galtieri, the Socialist Islamic Party of Great Britain. Mad Matt says, I wouldn't trust Jeremy with a 10-foot barge pole. I mean, his brother keeps getting arrested every week. Maybe he likes jail food. I'm not quite sure. No commies or socialists, full stop. No. Matthew Wilden and Phil Levan say yes. No's. Interesting. So maybe about 90%. I see you says, nope, the left wing won't change. The Schmocks party, like Fuds. Abstaining from this one, says Amalia. Interesting. No, Jeremy and Zara will disappear in the arsehole of obscurity, says Terry Wookford. The convicted stalker party. Which one of them was convicted of stalking? Paul Mabley, Flash in the Pan. Great band, Flash in the Pan. Oh, what was that song called? Flash in the Pan, Waiting for the Train. That was a great song. Much like Reform, who have peaked far too early, in my humble opinion. Everybody's saying no, although Amalia and Manda Sky are abstaining from the vote. Very curious. So it's not kind of outright no. I would say maybe 85% are saying no, and others are not sure until maybe they want to see the whites of the eyes of Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana. The Plasticine Liberation Front splitters. Last year's shirt party. Very good, Adam. Corbyn is like a cockroach. No matter how many times he's squashed, he keeps coming back. That's a multi-millionaire Jeremy Corbyn to me and you. And if you look at, as I was saying with Ginger Growler earlier, if you look at these front bench politicians who are multi-millionaires from having not a pot to pee in. The Cardigan Party. Brilliant, Andrew James. So I'm going to ask you a third question in this series, and then we'll get back to some of the sermon this evening, because I want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein in a moment. In your view, hang on, Angela Rayner is currently the betting favourite at 4-1. Will put her winnings towards another property. When I saw those odds, I thought she was racing. Mind, that girl has been... Bad Wolf Project. No, I'm not repeating that. Yeah, utter wrong. Ray Norton, Corbyn is like a spit in the wind. And Piers Corbyn did speak out against the COVID stuff, and yeah, I mean, Piers was getting arrested nearly every week, bless him. She's definitely been ridden a lot, Bad Wolf, says Dr. 69. Stuff it. It's a great line. It's humour. She's a politician. We're allowed to take the mickey. When I saw those odds, I thought she was racing. Mind you, that girl's been over the jumps a few times. I want to ask you a serious question now, though, and this is about Keir Starmer. 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, Agincourt, 2 for no. In your view, is Keir Starmer an enemy of the people? Don't have to elaborate. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Is Keir Starmer an enemy of the people? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Yeah, Paulie Galdieri, yes, absolutely. Literally everybody is saying 1. Growler is the Bonnie Blue of politics. That's very good, very good. Obvious answer 1. David Stewart says no, the only vote for a no. Everybody else is 1-1. Amalia Grassi, like 10 ones. I'm elaborating. That's actually quite funny. Amalia, he's a dictator. I plead the 5th, says Paul Mabley. Sandra Whitlam, 1, definitely. Bad Wolf Project, enema of the state. We need an enema to get rid of that piece of shit. Just, a private personal opinion. I'm allowed it. Everybody is. Well, I'm not sure freedom of speech is anything to go by, but both Trump and Elon Musk are wanting to have free speech. And the word I was looking for at the end of the live last night was tariffs. It took me ages. I was so tired when I finished last night. But the tariffs, the Americans, because of lack of free speech in this country, they're just going to put a whole load of tariffs on British goods that won't be able to sell in America. So Starmer's being squeezed from both sides, the electorate and the political classes, the parasitical classes. I mean, he just thinks it's the modern day cut and thrust of politics. Okay. But the people will have their say. Can I tell you something that I learned today that you will absolutely categorically not see anywhere else? You won't. Nobody else will do this, because we're now getting into a space that. Fucking hell. Well, this audience know that we came up with Ginger Growler here first, easily 18 months ago. So anybody using that moniker, well, as I say, certain other people, they've never had an original idea in their life. They're always picking it up from other places. And why does he need a ginger wig? He's a fucking ginge. Well, you can see from the front. Let me tell you a secret. If you go and have hair transplant, because they're plugs that go into your head, as you age, they fall out. They don't stay there. The Turks might tell you, well, yeah, brilliant. Ask anybody that's been out there. All of a sudden, their hair starts falling out when they get older, because the plugs that they take out of your arse and stick it in the front of your head, they fall out. Les Griffith says, America was funded by tariffs up until the fiat dollar came in. They were never so rich as when funded by tariffs and never so broke under the fiat system. Well, the Rothschilds wanted the fiat system because then what is it? They're worth about $500 trillion, the richest family on Earth. In fact, in the universe, in the solar system, in anywhere, apart from the aliens that are going to turn up on 3i, this rock that's heading towards us that we might find in November and December. Sandra Williams says, but I would not trust Nigel as far as I can throw him or spit him. Ghetto defended. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah, but he doesn't do it very well. That's the thing. So let's talk about Epstein, because it's all kicking off in America. You've had Ghislaine going, oh, yes, well, because they love a posh English accent in America. Yes, darling. Yeah, no. The President, Donald Trump. No. He never got involved in anything. No. Jeffrey wasn't aware of anything. No. He's a lovely man. Pardon me, you bastard. It's on the tape. So, in America, currently, the House Oversight Committee is subpoenaing Jeffrey Epstein's estate. So it looks like somebody has brassed somebody off because they were trying to nail him, somebody, don't know who, they were trying to say that he was shagging underage kids. Les Griffiths. Where are they now, Adrian? They've dropped off the radar. Which one's that, Les? I'm a bit confused because I've kind of moved on. Bad Wolf Project, yeah. Aliens at Christmas, that'll be another bloody lockdown. So, hang on, we'll just pause the Epstein thing. Can we talk about what's going on? Because the government are buying or are preparing for something to kick off. Because they're buying kind of body bags and mortuary space and stuff in case there's a mass fatality event. Now, is that going to be... Because look at the Annie Nightingale hospitals. And I know it's not Annie Nightingale, you're wrong. And it's just, I'm just referencing a great Radio 1 DJ. The Annie Nightingale hospitals. Never used. Flatten the curve. Save the NHS. And the bloody doctors and nurses were doing TikTok dances. How are we in shite, man? But now the government are preparing for something that... there's going to be another pandemic, lockdown. Oh, when's that then? So even though they're preparing for a pandemic, we're not going to know about the pandemic. Oh, and by the way, the emergency alert's going to go off soon. I saw, whilst I've been on here, I've seen an alert saying, oh, yes, we're just going to run a test on the emergency klaxons around the country. You'll get something to your phone. You can out of way and shite. Like now going on my phone. So maybe it is the aliens. Maybe they've used the Hubble telescope and they've gone, Buck me, there's little grey people on the top of that. Have you seen that? Oh my God, it looks like a rock. No, it's not. No, it's an alien spacecraft. Oh my word, we're all gonna die. Hard away and shite, man. They're just wanting to crash the banks, crash economies. Aliens are going to turn up. We've seen V in the 70s. All they want to do is eat our pussy and eat our rats. That's all they're here for. They'll just unhinge the jaw. They'll just shove your cat in there. We've seen V, man. We've got out to be afraid of. And we've got the Captain James T. Kirk spirit. We'll fight anybody, us. Me and you. I'll hold your coat, obvs. But we can fight anybody. Bloody aliens. Multi-dimensional travellers. Well, you can multi-dimensional Foxtrot Oscar. Scaring our sheep, you perverts. You know why Scotsmen wear kilts, don't you? Zip scare the sheep. So they're all at it. They're all at it. Hang on, Rory Bremner must be shitting himself at. Oh yes, absolutely, Neil Cunningham. Andrew James. The aliens in V were as hot as, I agree, Andrew James. Not the blokes, obviously. I see you says, Amalia, they aren't real. Bless. What aren't? Terry Woodford, they had no portable storage for bodies at Lockerbie. Had to use local village halls for bodies, so they introduced NEMA, National Emergency Mortuary Arrangement. I had a friend that told me the stories. I mean, like, my hair was permed after he told me some of the stories when he was one of the first cops that turned up in Lockerbie. Body parts everywhere. And like you say, they had to, National Emergency Mortuary Arrangement, they had to use the local town hall to kind of see if they could, almost like a jigsaw puzzle, put body parts together. I mean, Lockerbie was horrible and horrendous, and they didn't get the right person in the end. Alan says, I like the way that girl ate the hamster in V. Whatever gets you through the night, Alan. And aliens won't be able to book hotels as full of boat people, says Ray Norton. Brilliant. Where am I going to park my bloody UFO? My unidentified flying object. Where am I going to park it? Because there's nowhere. Even the car parks are full with vans and we'll leave it at that. Terry Woodford says, laughed my arse off. I called out the MRT at Lucas for Lockerbie. Got a pat on the back from the station commander. Yeah, good point from Bad Wolf Project. Can aliens claim air miles? What were those stamps in the 70s that you used to collect? Anyway, we're losing our track. So yes, they're putting together an emergency response, or there's a possible day of, or event of, or exercise, tabletop exercise of what would happen if aliens landed, or there was a mass fatality event of some kind. Oh, Bad Wolf Project. What about duty free green shield stamps? Oh, my mother collected those. Bloody hell, she had millions of them. Only worth half a p. Green shield stamps. Green shield says Ghetto Defender and Des Ashton. And Terry Wookfit, green shield stamps. I know. Thank you, Legalista. Ooh, don't think you're a first timer, but I'm just making sure. Co-op stamps. No, it was definitely green shield. I asked Alexa, do aliens exist? And she said, so far, there's no proof that alien life exists, but the universe is a very big place. And we have seen Katie Price after all that plastic surgery. So I think aliens do exist. Have you seen how thin her legs are? Leave it there, Adrian. It's okay. We've got the Royal Space Force now. Embassy coupons. Remember those as well, Les Griffiths. So let's get into Jeffrey Epstein, because it still hasn't finished. No. It still hasn't finished. I told you in December that he was going to make a reappearance. You can't make this stuff up. So it's all kicking off. The House Oversight Committee have subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's estate. Now, I've seen the video. Have you seen the video of like a drone going over his island, Little St. James, and bloody hell, bugger me, there's Jeffrey Epstein looking up at the drone going, oh shit, that wasn't supposed to happen. Now, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, said yesterday that they'd issued a new subpoena to the estate of Jeffrey Epstein for, and I quote directly, documents and communications in its possession, custody, or control in unredacted form. They're after the big ones. They're after the big names. And that includes a copy of the alleged birthday book, compiled for disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. And now the publishers of Virginia Roberts Giuffre's book, Nobody's Girl, have just dangled a little name for you. Jewish, of course. Well, Epstein was. Henry Kissinger. So the rumours are true. I'd heard rumours for years and years and years that Kissinger was not a nice man. And he was into things that were not very nice. And I'm sanitising it for very obvious legal reasons here. But the rumours that I heard back in the 80s, absolutely true. Henry Kissinger. And Virginia Roberts Giuffre has named Henry Kissinger, one of the elite's names that was around Epstein and did nefarious stuff. I know he's dead, but I'm still not taking any chances. So there you go. We get the day announced, and thank you to that anonymous emailer who sent me the most fantastic, obtuse, random emails today about the date, October 21st. I will I'm going to have a look at that in the morning again and read it again and digest it. So I will be telling you stuff tomorrow night that's going to make your hair curl. Les Griffith says, I know a lot about Kissinger. He was a devil in every sense of the word. I agree, Les. Oh, I agree. There's not been many like Henry Kissinger other than HRC. No, I'm not. You can work out who it is from HRC. Andrew James says, my dad tried to save enough stamps for a motorbike. He never did get enough stamps. Blimey, it must have been floor to ceiling to get a motorbike. Dead men can't sue, but surprisingly, they can arrange car accidents. And their estates can sue. Ghetto defended. Bloody hell, Kissinger. That's massive. He wasn't. He was, hung like a gnat, but seemingly. But she's named him. So this dead man's switch, or dead woman's switch, or dead woman's finger, if you will. Back to Sister Mary and a sponge finger. By the way, have you seen Sister Mary tonight? She's been conspicuous by her absence. Don't even know where the bishop is either. Don't think they're having a threesome, perchance. I need to have a look at that altar wine. But if you hear any noises, it'll be the girls. Brakes might snap on a cold, dark night, says Tailblock Tracy. Madeleine Albright was the female version of Kissinger. I know, and as ugly as sin. Is she still alive? I'm allowed that one. I didn't go too badly on her. Oh, yeah, there must be a bingo. Well, somebody says they had their hands on somebody's dibber earlier, so I presume it's bingo. Terry Wookfit says, Albright is worse, mate. So, is that what they're doing, Stephen Hall? They're munching on what for dinner? But Epstein's not going to go away, and neither's Virginia Roberts Giuffre. The names are going to be started to leak out, and there's Ghislaine going, no, President's a lovely man. No. His mother was Scottish, by the way. All of that malarkey. Finger of fudge is just enough to give Sister Mary a treat, Mephistopheles. Should we talk about this 14-year-old? I know I mentioned her earlier, but I think that I'm just going to speak. Well, you see, I don't know whether she's been charged. I know she's been arrested. She's 14-year-old, can't be named for legal reasons because she's under 16. Brilliant. Tailblock Tracy says, can you ask Sister Mary if she got my recipe for the porn star martini? Or the Johnny Holmes, as Sister Mary calls it. This 14-year-old, she's been arrested in Dundee. I would like to think that I'm not going to affect the process of law or justice because she was pictured, and it's all been all over the social medias. And technically, she's not being charged with anything. So we can pass comment generally, but not with specifics. But she has been quoted as saying, don't touch my little sister, she's 12. I mean, the state of Scotland. Why should a 14-year-old be carrying anything to fight off imported attackers? And why does the left, I mean, they're idiots in Scotland. They're raged, technical term that we use in radio. So why do the left want this to happen? Do they still believe in multicultural utopia is about to spring up? Is he rollocks? Absolute bollocks. Right, okay. Thank you, Terry. So we can't talk about it now. I've just been told that she's been charged with possession of a bladed weapon in a public place. When I started this live, she'd only been arrested. So we won't pass comment. We'll allow the natural course of justice to take place now, because we're not going to do anything that will impede that. Terry Wookfit says, no, she hasn't. She was already at a low security pen. She's been moved state. Yeah, to an even more low security. I mean, I don't know whether she's gone back home and just calling in. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, don't worry. I'm Cat D. Hang on, who was Cat D? We'll move on. I want to tell you about Christine Lagarde. You know her. She's the president of the European Central Bank. I want to tell you something. And we'll get into the EU a little deeper. Simply because Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank, she has said, and I'm quoting directly, it is our duty to check the climate change risk to which banks are exposed. Banks are not exposed to climate change risk. How are they? So she's saying, and she's already said they've got a central bank, European central bank digital currency. They've already come up with it. But Christine Lagarde said, it is our duty to check the climate change risk to which banks are exposed. My hairy backside. The only exposure that banks might get if climate change does exist is if it pisses down on their building. So I'm going to ask you a question. The EU, is it the last bastion of climate change? So I would suggest 2025 is Europe's summer of submission, because we know quite a few subs in politics, not those that go underwater before you say anything. But the EU has failed to recognise its weaknesses. So last week, the photo was released of Donald Trump sitting behind his desk, the Situation Desk, I think, and all the European leaders were sat in a semicircle, except Sir Keir Starmer, who was chopped off the end because they don't like him. So all these leaders were arrayed on chairs before him. Yeah. If Angela Rayner, Ginger Growler, believes in climate change and sea level rising and all that bollocks, why has she bought a new gaff at the seaside? Funnily enough, Obama, Gore, Kerry, et al. Yeah, Mephistopheles, throw an old fridge in the river. Les Griffiths, thought we were talking about Epstein. We were, and I told you about Henry Kissinger, so we were talking about that. But I've gone on to the EU because we've got a lot to fit in tonight. So as I was saying, there was a picture of Donald Trump with all of the European leaders arrayed on chairs in a semicircle before him. But that tells me how the attempted insurrection of the European minions ended. With the Trump just looking at them going, you bunch of utter wrong-uns. Honestly. If Trump says that, I will pack this whole channel in. Simply because my work here will be ended. Talking about Christine Lagarde into the EU, into Ukraine. Look, this show's not hoiked together, you know. Sorry, thrown together. But Ukraine is saying they might need a new washing machine. We need a bigger boat and we need a bigger washing machine. Well, why is that then? Well, have you heard today? Obviously not, because it's not even going to make the papers tomorrow. Zelensky wants the European Super Union to provide a $1 billion monthly allowance to fuel the war against Russia. So who's making the money then? So Sniffy's made the comment while speaking alongside Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store, JGS, as his mates know him, during a press conference in Kiev yesterday. So he's now saying, right, lads, yeah, well, I'll talk with Putin. Yeah, we'll get all that sorted. But in the meanwhile, can you just spunk another extra $1 million monthly into the coffers? Obviously, we'll wash it and we'll make sure that it's laundered. But we need it to fuel the war and pay for the war against Russia. I thought the bloody war was over. But that's what Sniffy said yesterday. And the General Envoy, future Ukraine President Valery Zaluzhny, I probably haven't pronounced it correctly, Zaluzhny, I think he's in London. Now, this Valery Zaluzhny, the General Envoy, is refusing to take calls from J.D. Vance after Sniffy's showdown with Trump reflects the political tightrope the war hero, that's Sniffy, has walked since being fired. Valery Zaluzhny, that war hero, he's been walking a tightrope since he was fired as army chief. But that cheeky tart, Sniffy, yeah, can you just spunk another $1 billion into the coffers, please? Look, $50 million a month is not a round of drinks, so you need to give me more money. So I'm going to give you some good news and some bad news. We've still got quite a bit to do. from 2027, Rachel from accounts is going to, if you've worked hard all of your life, unfortunate term of phrase, comedy opening if you want to take it, but if you've worked hard all your life and you just, you have a nice little nest egg, you've got, nice home, mortgage is paid off, and you've got maybe a pension pot that's looking after you whilst you're in your dotage, and you might not, but you still might have worked hard, because I think most people watching this channel are not slackers or shirkers. But from 2027, Rachel from accounts and that dirty big black hole of hers, that's the corrupt accounts department. She's saying, and I quote, from 2027, pension savings will count against inheritance tax. So, currently, if you inherit a pension from someone who died before the age of 75, no inheritance tax. But if they die over 75, you will pay tax when you draw from that pension, because it's going to be classed as income. So I've done some calculus. So inheritance tax on an estate over 325 grand, or you're married, so it'll be £650,000 if you are married. But there's no tax if you leave everything to your spouse. But if you leave that to your kids, you can technically add another 175 grand after that 650 before you pay tax. So it's getting quite close to nearly £1 million. But say London, because London, the house prices in London are just nuts. They're crazy. And seemingly the average house price in London is £565,000. And say, and I'm just making these numbers up for arbitrary sake. So say you've got a very nice pension pot, you've worked hard all your life, and you've been frittering away to look after yourself when you retire. So you've got a house worth 565 grand, and you've got £415,000 in your pension pot. Putting those two together, £975,000 it creates, if it goes, not a spouse, but straight to your kids. It creates an inheritance tax bill of £192,000 in 2027. Told you, this Labour Party is evil. So it doesn't matter how hard you've worked all your life to put it away so you can have a nice retirement, they're going to bend you over and stick it up your derriere. So you get, say, 900 in the pot for your kids or child. So all the kids that would split it, there would be an inheritance tax bill of £192,000. And that's what they're going after. At the budget in October, they're after the middle classes. They've already done the pensioners. The pensioners are being taxed on their pensions. They're not getting the winter fuel payments. The pensioners are just, and they're trying to do away with the triple lock, saying we can't afford it. Go off. You can afford an £800,000 third house, you thieving bastard. And yet, we work hard for anything that we get in our dotage, and they're going to do our knees for it. Unacceptable on every single level. But you won't see a politician fall on hard times, will you? Because you do know that any politician that stays in Parliament for 2 terms, however high they rise to in the political firmament, that's their pension for the rest of their lives. So if they make 153 grand a year, that's Ginger Growler, she will have been in Parliament for longer than 2 terms. By the time she's kicked out by the electorate, she'll get a pension every year of £153,000, minus tax and national insurance, of course. I see who says, my work pension has been robbed. I worked very hard for it, wasted my time. Jeez. Mephistopheles, wonder why people are opting out of work and claiming mental health issues. Pointless paying into a pension, it's pointless doing anything. And look, if the freebie people, the gimmigrants, come across here and get everything free, why should the rest of the country absolutely knock their pipe out to support these people? And if people say, no, that's unacceptable, Adrian, all right then, how many bedrooms you got? Because you can put some of those feckers up and you can feed them for free if you love them that much. Jackie Glasgow says, I'm glad I'm poor. So, I know there's a theme running through everything in the live tonight, and that is how corrupt the Labour Party and the Labour government and those front bench politicians are. They're crooks. They're corrupt, in my view. And I've got the stats that I've presented to you, because what they're after is if you own anything of any worth, including a pension pot and or a house, they want it so that they can spunk your money up the wall, flying private jets, having a private box to go and watch Arsenal, and they can do all that and have some lackey bugger about for Ginger Growler in the sea outside of her new flat while she's sucking on something and drinking tinnies. It's just corrupt. Les Griffith says war is coming to these shores. I hope not, Les, because they've then got us. They've got us by the short and curlies. I would resist anything that would mean violence on the streets, because Starmer's the kind of guy that will be told, get the army on the streets and start showing them who's boss. But there's 64 million of us. Take away half for the women, so there's 32 million. Take away maybe 1 or 2 kids, so there's more than likely 20 million, 15 to 20 million fighting age men in this country. They can't take that. But it's like, so B mentality, as in the little buzzy things. If a queen flies into a hive's locale, one of the worker bees goes out and sacrifices itself by landing on the back of the queen bee. I mean, my mum, bless her, in her naivety, oh, look at those 2 bees, they're having sex. Mother, bees are androgynous, man. They don't have sex, you're wrong. The queen just lays the eggs. Oh yeah, but I saw this bee with another bee on its back. Isn't that them having sex? No, that's a bee from a hive that sacrificed itself on behalf of the hive to kill off that queen, because if that queen starts getting into the hive, it's going to cause chaos. So, I would suggest very, very strongly that we don't take the bait. We don't take the bait and start fighting on the streets. We don't take the bait and rise up. We don't take the bait. Everybody else would be saying, oh, come on, let's go fight. And I've told you, we are the best fighters in the world. Bar none. Get the Scots involved, get the Welsh involved, and the Irish. Bloody hell, the Irish women love a bit of a scrap, as do the Swansea girls. Well, you've seen what's happened today in Scotland. So, let's not take to the streets. Fighting. Demonstrating, yes. September 13th, the Freedom March in London. I think that's going to be extraordinarily well attended. But the minute that we start kicking off, they're going to lock us down. They're going to make sure we can't do anything. They'll put the army on the streets, and then we've lost big time, because they won't let us out. They just won't let us out. As Griffith says, as a boy, I showed my dad a daddy longlegs mating with a mammy longlegs. He told me there was no such thing as mammy longlegs, so I stamped on the dirty fingers. Yeah, utter wrong. I was a legal secretary until I fell from a horse and did my back. Sorry, Jackie. Sorry to hear that. Interesting. Should we talk about what's going on with Trump? Americano, as Holly Johnson once sang. So Trump's come out today. No, out, obviously, because he likes Melania and he likes strong women. But he said that the government is going to take more of a stake in more American companies. So the US government is likely to take ownership stakes in more companies, just as it did with Intel, toward the goal of building a sovereign wealth fund. That's come from the National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett. He said overnight. But there's something else going on in America that you need to keep an eye on. There's a housing panic that's gripping the US cities because record price cuts are sending home values tumbling. Now, we know that they've got to crash the American market. But once the house prices start coming down, so your pension pot's going to go to rat shit because the government's going to nick it all. Your house price is going to go to rat shit and BlackRock is going to buy it all. So you're going to end up with nout. And after working your nuts off for 20, 30, 40, 50 years maybe, getting towards 60 years possibly, and they're just going to strip you of all of it? Thieving toe rags. But there is this housing panic that's going on in America. Because remember, you've got BlackRock, State Street and Vanguard, JP Morgan on the periphery. But these three companies own $26 trillion worth of assets. So your house is going to be a mere bagatelle for them to buy up. And remember when there was all the fires in LA, BlackRock was on the ground saying, we'll buy your house, we'll buy your house, we'll buy your house. Thank you, Stuart, as ever. Really appreciate it. Thank you. But this housing panic is gripping US cities like never before. More than 2008. But it may take another 6 months to a year. I mean, even crypto's all over the place. Ray, I get it. Pension is not a right but a benefit according to Labour. Not if you've put all your hard-earned in there to try and make your pension years, your dotage, comfortable. Honestly, I could not hate this Labour government more if I tried. They're stripping everybody of all their assets and all their wealth. Everybody. Because remember, the Austrian fuckwit, Klaus Schwab, wonder why he was sacked from WEF. Come on, Klaus, tell us, man. Because I know, but I can't say it here, can I? Come on, Klaus, mate, it's me and you. Why don't you tell me? I've read your books. Stakeholder Capitalism, I've read it, man. I know what the grift is. I know what the game is. You'll own nothing and be happy. Yeah, wrong. He talks like that when he's at home with his wife. They are crippling. Look, this is not chaos. This is planned. It is strategic. They want to buy all the housing stock up by these asset managers. And once the asset managers have bought a house, they're never going to sell it again. Don't be stupid. They're not going to sell it at a profit. They're going to make sure that they take it out your arse in rent every month. Oh no, bugger me. If you can't afford it, somebody else will take it. So sellers in America are slashing prices at record rates to lure hesitant buyers put off by soaring mortgage rates. So they're going through the roof. People can't afford. I mean, look at London. How many people do you know that can get onto the housing ladder and afford a house in London? Not many, I would hazard a guess. But the soaring mortgage rates and economic uncertainty in America in July alone. Thank you, Angelic Inspirations, again. I really appreciate everybody's support. I'll enjoy that cup. Thank you very much. So in July alone, this year, 2025, 27.4% of listings had a price cut. 1 in 4. The highest rate ever recorded there's a company in America that tracks all of this. It's called Zillow. And they have monthly data going back to 2018. So it's the highest rate ever recorded in Zillow's monthly data going back to 2018. It's unacceptable, man. But it's the political parasites. It's the parasitical classes that are doing all this. They don't care. They don't care whether you die. They don't care what happens to your money so long as it goes to them, the government and the politicians who get freebie after freebie after freebie. They just don't care about you at all. And if you rise up, in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, we're fucked. So I want to tell you, are you aware of the major fire at Hamburg, Germany, Port of Hamburg? Are you aware of this? It's kind of come into the news over the last 12 hours or so, but there were explosions and a major fire at the Port of Hamburg. Several people have been injured. The emergency services said the blaze was believed to have started when a parked vehicle inside the warehouse, oh my lord, it suddenly bloody blew up. Ignited was the word. triggering a series of explosions involving pressurized gas cylinders. Witnesses reported multiple blasts throughout the night, according to the emergency services in Hamburg. Flames spreading to nearby areas and debris being scattered across the port. EV? Anyone? Because we seem to be in repetition. The insurance companies won't insure them because they just go randomly. And I think from what I understand, it's if you have an EV or a scooter or like an electric battery, if you keep charging it full up, it just goes boom, because it likes to fill up and empty, fill up and empty. But people just keep putting them on the charge no matter how much charge is actually in the EV's battery. That's from what I understand. It's a technical thing. I see you said, I've not heard this. EV strikes again. It's one theory. I see you. Amalia Grassi, I was in an EV today, first one ever. Oh, I mean, you know, Teslas are beautiful. They are. And for me, as an older guy, any time I see an EV drive past, or I've sat in an EV and been driven around it, it always makes me think of the Thunderbird cars. If Thunderbirds are go, FAB, International Rescue, there's something going on at an airport, and the little models used to go about, and they all used to be electric cars and an electric, stuff that they use in the airport. So anytime I hear an electric car go past, I think, oh, it's Thunderbirds. Stuart, I've no idea. How long does an EV take to charge fully? Do you know, I've no idea. Les Griffith says, Fred Flintstone cars are coming. Yeah, pedal faster. Tesla or Aston Martin? I wouldn't have an electric Aston Martin. Oh, Bad Wolf Project. No. I mean, Tesla, yes, because that's how they were made and the purpose behind them. But an Aston Martin has got to have throaty revving, man. I want a car. I want a muscle car that growls at me when I'm sitting behind the steering wheel. I don't want none of this silent floating about like a Tesla. I want a fucking throaty roar. So you just go, oh, I say, darling, did you enjoy that? Oh, I want to marry you. If you've got an Aston Martin, just let me sit in the passenger seat. Oh, the bloody thing vibrates. Stuart says, Rev, you and me both, Thunderbird vibes. Oh, I love them. I mean, I'll be standing on a curb and an electric vehicle go by and I'll just think, Thunderbirds are go. Is that Thunderbird 7? Terry Wookford says, depends on the car. Battery size and charging port, anything from 3/4 of an hour to 8 hours. Jesus. Knowing my luck, a wind-up car would explode on me. I see you. I hear you. There's kind of, I think, what else was I going to talk to you? Yes, hang on a second. I was going to say something else. Right, I'm going to give you some more data. I'm going to give you more data. And I want to round off the live tonight. So if you, it may be harrowing. You may decide to finish early because of the stuff that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the northern grooming gangs. And I have to use those words, even though I'd want to use the R word. I'm having to use that to get past varying levels of algorithm because I want to possibly put this out as a separate video tomorrow. But are you aware that there are 382 local authorities in the United Kingdom, 317 in England, 32 in Scotland, 22 in Wales, 11 in Northern Ireland? Now, of these local authorities, 85 have now been identified as areas where grooming gangs operated and operate. That's around 22% of the total. Almost 1 in 4. Now, these are the only these are just the cases that we know about so far, and it's based on survivors bravely coming forward and the responses to freedom of information requests. The true figure, I would suggest, is almost certainly far higher. So can you remember when I mean, Tommy's been talking about it for a long, long time. I can't even mention Tommy's full name. Otherwise, this will be restricted. But remember, Labour politicians smeared when people campaigned for a national inquiry. Labour politicians smeared those campaigners as far-right, racist, and dismissed the warnings as barefaced lies. So I'll just give you the data again. I'll tell you that there are 382 local authorities in the UK, 317 in England, 32 in Scotland, 22 in Wales, and 11 in Northern Ireland. Of all of these local authorities, 85 of them have now been identified as areas where grooming gangs operated. That's nearly 1 in 4, 22%. And everybody was labelled racist, barefaced lies, far right. It was the Labour politicians that did it. But there are still Labour politicians that are going to sit on the front bench that seemingly want to protect women and girls. How's that going then? I remember there was one PMQs with Ginger Growler and all of the front bench was women. And they don't care about the safety and sanctity of women and female children in this country. I mean, we can throw the young guys in there as well, because certain communities like young boys. So as recently as January this year, desperate to keep the scandal contained and to downplay the industry scale grooming of this country's children, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, and the Minister for Safeguarding Girls, Jess Phillips, proposed just 5 local inquiries. 317 local authorities, 85 of them have been identified where grooming has taken place. And these two moronic people, MPs, proposed just 5 local inquiries, none with statutory powers. So they were toothless. And if you think about it, each of those inquiries were to be run by the very councils, police forces, and politicians implicated in the original cover-up. So it's like turkeys voting for Christmas. It would be, so the councils, police forces, and politicians, well, that's you, and that's you, and that's you. Let's sweep that under the carpet. So that damage limitation exercise collapsed. Under pressure, Yvette Cooper was finally forced to concede a national inquiry. But even that, today, August 26th, has stalled. So I'm just going to look you in the eye and tell you, they didn't protect the children. They protected the system. They knew. They watched. They signed it all off. 85 areas, not one whistleblower, just documents, just budgets, just silence. This isn't negligence. It's design. You think it's over there, but the blueprint's global. They call it multiculturalism. You'll call it hell when it knocks on your door. This wasn't a scandal. It was a ritual. And the price was innocence. And the currency was and is pain. There is no rehabilitation. Only reckoning. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes. If you could smash them before you leave. There's close to 200 people. I really would appreciate it because I put a lot of effort in tonight's live for you. Vix Text says there's a lot of money behind this. Correct. Because certain people are with impunity taking advantage of this is not chaos. It's planned. Children seem to be fair game for society under diversity acceptance. I get it. Terry Wookfit. You're not so much enabling as keeping it away from the public in order to allow more immigration, both legal and illegal. So thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. wherever you go and whatever you do, please stay safe. Take emergency Battenberg if you need to. Maybe a little snifter of Alta wine or a bit of Bucky around the back of the bike shed. I'm sure Sister Mary's there with a little small tincture for you. But we're this third live out of 4. There's another live 7:30 Wednesday evening. And remember, these lives, they're not a show. They're a mission. And we go again Wednesday night, 7:30. I'll be here from 7:15 to do the parish notes and get everybody's feet under the Starmers. And I shall see you for more important information Wednesday night, 7:30. Be well, stay safe. See you tomorrow night, 7:30.